Good evening, good morning, good whatever you're having wherever you are. Thank you so much again for joining me here on Occult Catalyst. Welcome back, where we explore the mysteries of existence, the profound beauty of the occult, and the transformative power of spiritual practice. Today, I want to talk about something that may not seem immediately magical, but is in fact one of the most profound forces in the universe: compassion. Now, when you hear the word compassion, you might think of softness, of kindness, or even weakness. But I'm here to tell you compassion is anything but weak. Compassion is power. It is transformative. It's an energy that can heal wounds, empower your magic, and deepen your connection to the divine, to others, and to yourself. Now, I don't know about all of you, but one thing that I am very good at is being compassionate to others. At least I like to think so, but I struggle with compassion to myself. Um, I think it's just that, I put others before myself type thing, or I try to. Um, and I don't really see the same reflection in myself that I see in others with the deserving of my action and intention, I suppose. I don't know how quite to explain it, but that's why I'm here making this video, so we can dig to the bottom of it together. So if you relate, if you struggle at all with compassion in your life, or you're looking just to be more compassionate or up your game, drop a like or a comment below. Just show that you liked this video, and let's move forward. What is compassion? At its core, compassion is the ability to feel empathy for the suffering of others and the desire to alleviate that suffering. It's the act of seeing pain or struggle, whether in yourself or in another, and responding not with judgment, but with understanding and care. In magical terms, compassion is the energy of the heart chakra, of Anahata, a divine force that connects us to all living beings. It's the emotional alchemy that turns separation into unity and apathy into action. And when we cultivate this energy, it doesn't just help others, it empowers us. Anahata, or the heart chakra, is kind of the unifying energy between all sentient life, and it kind of binds us all together into that singular consciousness. Now, obviously, that's carried forth in the higher spheres or higher chakras. Sorry, I'm a Kabbalist, so you have to excuse me. I just think of the tree. Um, but basically, it's what connects us to one another, and that's where we form compassion, is from the heart, obviously. Compassion as empowerment in magic and life. Let's break down why compassion is so powerful, especially in magic and spirituality. When you cultivate compassion, you align yourself with divine energy. Compassion is not passive, it's active. It transforms relationships, enhances empathy, and strengthens our dharma, our life's purpose. In magic, it can amplify our intentions because it aligns our will with the higher vibrations of universal love. I just want to take a second to explain Dharma too. I won't go on a tangent really, but your Dharma is kind of your role of like why you are here reincarnated on Earth. It's your like true purpose of what you're supposed to be doing, and may not necessarily be a career or something of that nature, but it might be something that you just do naturally that you are fulfilling, and that is to fulfill your karmic debts. So I believe that fulfilling your dharma is in a way paying off your karmic debt. So if you had no karmic debt, you wouldn't really have a dharma. You would be like a clean slate to do what you wish. Now, I could be totally wrong. This is my interpretation of it, so bear with me. Think about it. When you approach your spell work or rituals with love, not just for yourself, but for the greater good, you're tapping into an infinite source of power. When you're doing it for not just yourself, but for the greater good. That's the important part of what really amplifies spells and magic, because you're aligning with universal currents. It's no longer just your will, it's the will of the cosmos working through you, or the divine will. This is why so many spiritual traditions, both Eastern and Western, emphasize compassion. It's seen as the highest expression of divine energy. Now let's take a look at some powerful figures who embody compassion. In the East, there's Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion in Buddhism, known for their vow to alleviate the suffering of all sentient beings. In Tibet, this figure is revered as Chenrezig, and it is believed that the Dalai Lama is a manifestation of this energy. In the West, we have figures like Jesus Christ, whose teachings were centered on love, forgiveness, and compassion for all, even those who wrong us. Think of the phrase, love your enemies. That's not just moral advice, it's spiritual alchemy. These figures weren't weak because of their compassion, they were powerful beyond measure. Their acts of love moved nations, inspired revolutions, and left legacies that transcend time. That really goes to say something. I mean, you have whole religions spawned after these beings, that are so revered and respected for the compassion that they gave unto the world, that they're still revered here today. I don't know how long Avalokiteshvara uh, has been recorded in history. But I mean, if you look at the history of Christ over 2,000 years, that's a long time for somebody to be revered and even worshipped, you know. So that's a very moving thing to look at because that's all active compassion. So compassion is powerful. Compassion as power, right? Cat. Mm. Compassion is divine energy. When we act compassionately, we're not just being nice, we're channeling divine energy. Compassion is one of the highest vibrations in the universe. It's a direct connection to Source. When you perform an act of kindness, your own heart opens, and that energy becomes a source of vitality for your soul. It's like a feedback loop. The more you give, the more you receive. This is why people who dedicate their lives to service often radiate such peace and power. And so this isn't like a call to action to go out and make vain acts of kindness, but to fit them into your daily life where you see that you can be kind and open a door for somebody, or say something nice to somebody about something they are wearing or the way their hair looks or little things to lift people up. Or if you really see somebody down and out of their luck, going out of your way and being altruistic to help them, which altruism is, if you're unsure, the helping somebody, even though the costs may outweigh the benefits and you're still helping somebody just to help somebody. Doing things like that are what really generate compassion and compassionate energy for you and are going to feed your anahata or your heart chakra. So, I mean, even when you pass somebody in the street that's, sitting on the ground asking for a few dollars and you've got some change to spare, that's a blessed act that you can do. I mean, even if you feel rudimentary or elemental about it or elementary about it, it's still something that is a great practice and shows your kindness unto the world and helps spread some of your light. So, any of those things are like ways to just start practicing this in our daily life. But we'll get more into that in a second. So, cultivating compassion. Now, how do we cultivate compassion, both for ourselves and for others? It's not always easy, especially when we're in pain or when others hurt us, but it's possible and deeply transformative. Let's start with self compassion because everything begins within. Self compassion means forgiving yourself for your mistakes, accepting your flaws, and treating yourself with the kindness you would offer a dear friend. Ask yourself, where am I being too hard on myself? What would it look like to give myself grace instead? Compassion for others is where the real alchemy happens. Instead of reacting with anger or judgment, try to see humanity in the other person. Ask what pain or fear might be driving their actions. How can I respond from a place of understanding? So you really want to start to ask yourself when you're, talking about compassion with yourself, you want to ask where you can be more kind to yourself, where you're being too harsh on yourself, where you can pick yourself up, where you can show yourself more love. Ask yourself those questions internally, either just while chilling or in meditation. I advise in meditation, obviously, but you can really reflect on your self-care and your self-love and find where you have flaws in that, which we all do. Um, and with compassion to others, you're really cultivating. a sense of empathy and connection with everyone all around you, which is going to help form unity consciousness, which is what we're striving for. We are striving to be at oneness or at one-ment, atonement with the higher supreme deity, whatever you deem that to be it source. So compassion practice. So here's something you can do. Here's a practice you can try to cultivate compassion. Sit in a quiet place and close your eyes. You can light a candle if you want, or an incense, or whatever it helps to make your space your own and kind of clear off the energy and, set an intention. Take a few deep breaths, grounding yourself in the present moment. Visualize your heart as a glowing sphere of light. Imagine it radiating warmth and love, first toward yourself. Say to yourself, I forgive myself. I love myself. I am worthy of compassion. Next, visualize this light expanding outward, touching everyone around you. Friends, family, even strangers. Extend it to those you may struggle to forgive. Imagine their pain dissolving in this light. End by bringing the light back to your own heart, feeling its warmth and power. So that's just a simple process you can do to spread that light around and that compassion energetically and feel it within yourself and feel it for others and just explode it out and bring it back in to you and feel it all. To truly embody compassion, we must face the shadow side of ourselves and ask tough questions. So if you're not yet doing shadow work, it's important to start doing that. I think I still have to do a video on shadow work, but it's pretty straightforward. You sit in meditation and start to ask yourself questions and reflect on them and give yourself true answers from the different parts of you, your shadow and you. But questions for compassion, for shadow work, or focusing in internally is, where have I failed to show myself love? Where am I holding resentment and why? What part of myself do I find hardest to forgive? What would happen if I chose love over fear? And so much more. Those are just a few I could think of. But these questions are not easy to answer. They require vulnerability, and vulnerability with yourself is where transformation begins. Compassion is not just a feeling, it's a practice, a power, and a path. It connects us to the divine, strengthens our magic, and enriches our relationships. By cultivating compassion, we don't just heal ourselves, we heal the world. Thank you for joining me today on this exploration of compassion as power. If this message resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe to Occult Catalyst with more videos on the intersection of spirituality, magic, and personal growth. And as always, stay radiant, stay empowered, and remember, the greatest magic lies within you. Namaste. Om Vajra.